And good morning, everybody. Hello. My goodness, I was not expecting a move at what time is it? Not even 10 a.m. in the morning. My goodness. Jesus Luzardo is heading to the Phillies, according to Robert Murray. Wow. Okay, then. Well, we have something to talk about on this Sunday morning. Hold on a second. I'm getting fired up over here. Getting everything rolling on my end, of course. I was caught off guard yet again, but I got on here as fast as I could. I'm enjoying my coffee this morning, and what do you know? I'm working on a video as well. Wow. Okay, then. Well, Jesus Luzardo heading to the Phillies. He had been mentioned with the Chicago Cubs. We had been hearing about that this past week. And hold on a second, just getting everything turned on here. All right. Okay. Here we go. We are good to go now. All right, everyone. If you can hit that like button for me. Wow. When was the last time we went live on a Sunday morning? Has that even happened on this channel before? I don't even know. But Robert Murray says the Philadelphia Phillies are acquiring Jesus Luzardo from the Miami Marlins, according to a source familiar with the deal. Robert Murray is always, he's not going to put something out there if he doesn't buy it. So you can definitely trust this one. But let's kind of get to it here. I think I saw Craig Mish out there. I think he put something out there. Craig Mish. I think I saw the return. Hold on one second here. No one else is tweeting about this. None of the other big reporters. Wow, this is a big one. Oh, okay, sorry. John Heyman did. Okay. Here we go. Marlins receive Starlin Caba and Amarian Boyd. All right, well, yeah, Starlin Caba, that's been a popular trade piece when it comes to, any mock trades when it involves the Phillies, right? He is a guy that he's a good shortstop prospect, still a bit far away at this point. So, but a guy that has value, right? He's definitely a highly regarded shortstop prospect, international signing. Let's kind of break this down. Let's fire up the trade machine here. And here we go. Again, what do you know? Of course, I can't click the right buttons. Working on a video this morning. And of course, once again, it's anytime I'm working on something happens. Here we go. Plugging this in here. Marlins and the Phillies. And, you might be thinking here, oh, they're in the same division. Well, yeah, you got to think for the Marlins' point of view, it doesn't really matter. They are very far away from a competitive window. This is a big get for the Phillies, man. I really like this. Really like this a lot. Here we go. So, yeah, this is, I think, going to be pretty even. Yeah, this is going to be pretty even. What do you know? Baseball trade values, once again, coming in with an even trade. And then we had Boyd as well. All right. So, Marion Boyd, yeah, pretty even trade. Right, when you're taking a look at the values, of course, yeah, absolutely. That is approved. That is a fair trade. And there we go. I like this a lot. I think for the Phillies, Jesus Luzardo, he missed a lot of time this past year. He was dealing with a back injury. But I'd say that's a good thing. I mean, obviously not a good thing dealing with the back, but that's a lot better than having some kind of an arm issue. He still had pretty good stuff this year. Velo was still looking pretty good. He just wasn't looking as sharp as he has in the past, right? Or what we saw back in 2023, because obviously he was dealing with that. He wasn't at his best. So, but luckily, it's nothing with the arm that you have to worry about with Luzardo. It's, the back. But listen, I've had a lot of back injuries over, the last 10 years myself. I've been able to, bounce back from those somehow, some way. I think Luzardo, with the resources that he's had, with all the, the top medical guys and physical therapists they have there, I'm sure he's good to go at this point. Normal offseason, he'll have a normal spring. I think this is a big get for the Phillies, man. And, they got a guy in the rotation here that is, this is going to be great for the Phillies. Wow, they really just beefed up this rotation. We've been hearing about, Dave Dombrowski, talking about how he just wants to, kind of work on the edges of the team. I'm still wondering what else is left here for the Phillies. There's definitely going to be some more moves. They did bring in Max Kepler recently. who has hit pretty well at Citizens Bank Park. I think that'll be a nice fit there. Let's see if the Phillies can get him back on track. We've talked about Alec Boehm ad nauseum on this channel with all the trade rumors that's been surrounding him, where Dave Dombrowski, he's basically looking for like Shohei Ohtani for Alec Boehm. My goodness. Trying to offer him up for all the best players in the game. But let's see if Alec Boehm gets moved at some point. We'll see. Nick Castellanos, his name has been in the rumor mill. Not a great contract. They're going to have to figure out what to do there. Really, he's a DH at this point. The defense in the outfield is not good. But yeah, Brian 35. Yeah, I mean, the Marlins, that was expected. The Marlins are very far away from competing. I think this is a good, though. I've been, doing mock trades, when it comes to, the Marlins and whatnot. And over the years, over the last couple of years with Luzardo, even, with like Sandy Alcantara and whatnot. But Starlin Caba, I think, is a very nice pickup for the Marlins. Now, if we were to go take a look here, again, I had like so many tabs open because I was working on, of course, another video, and I can't see anything on my screen. There we go. Let's go to Baseball America. Let's take a look at the Phillies and their top prospects. Let's see where they had Caba ranked. He was the number 4 prospect in their system. Is he a top 100? That's where I don't know if is he a top 100? I think he might be. He is, number 81. 81. So good for the Marlins, man. Again, he is far away, but he's a top 100 prospect at this point. Has a great hit tool. He's very athletic, has a good arm, very good defensively. This is a guy that has a chance. Sure, again, it's going to be a while before you see him getting close to the major league level, but there's a very high ceiling. He was an international signing back in early 2023. So far, taking a look at the numbers. Now, this past year, not great when it came into the batting average and the slugging, but the on-base looked very good. I think that's a good sign, even though, yeah, sure, the batting average looks horrendous at 228, the slugging at 284. I mean, what even is that? But when you see a guy that's still getting on base, still showing good plate discipline, I think that's a good sign for the future. Only 2 home runs. He did have 50 stolen bases. So, they're going to have to figure something out in Miami to get him back on track. I'm not sure what happened there. Most of his numbers came at rookie ball. He hit 254 at rookie ball, the 427 on base. So they promoted him to A ball. But again, very young. He's 19 years old. He was one of the top international signings during that period. So let's see, again, you're going to have to get something going here with these numbers, but I wouldn't worry too much. When you have a guy that's able to get on base at that rate at such a young age, that shows a lot, in my opinion. So let's see what happens this coming year with Starlin Caba. I think that's an exciting prospect for the Marlins fans to keep an eye on. Michael Bradigan, $4.99 Super Chat. Phillies have the best rotation in baseball, and they have Painter. Yes. Now, getting back to the Phillies' point of view here, this is great. This is a very good addition here. Love this. Goodness gracious. Now you got Wheeler, Nola, Luzardo is going to be your number 3. Sanchez, a great year this past year. He's going to be your 4. Ranger Suarez will be your 5. Could you maybe see a situation where could they, now that they have so much of a surplus here with the starting pitching, do you see the Phillies maybe make some kind of a move with Ranger Suarez? I don't know. Taijuan Walker, I don't think is going to go anywhere. That's a pretty terrible contract at this point. Or could you put Taijuan Walker in the bullpen more in a long relief role? That's a pretty expensive long reliever, if you ask me. But could you possibly do something with Ranger Suarez? He does have some pretty good value here. Taking a look-see. Ranger Suarez has the $24 million surplus value. That could net you something pretty good. Could you even see a situation where, maybe you could, I don't know, probably not. I was going to say maybe you could pair him with Castellanos to kind of make up for the value, or with Castellanos, you can probably you just eat the money on that. But Ranger Suarez, he could definitely bring you something in. But then again, I can just see the Phillies just keeping him, right? Just for the depth. With Luzardo, sure, he was injury free with the arm. It was just the back, but you never know with the back. Might be best to keep Suarez for some insurance. But if you, and I see you too, Fibs, maybe you could pair Ranger Suarez with Alec Bohm, and then you can get yourself a pretty decent package back, man. I mean, if you pair those two together, they've been having a hard time getting teams to do, well, obviously with the Phillies are asking for a lot, but maybe you can entice a team out there and be like, okay, Alec Bohm, all right, maybe you're not too, completely sold on just getting Alec Bohm. What if we put Ranger Suarez in the deal as well? I'm just saying, man, I think this could end up being a really good package overall. We'll see. But I think for the Phillies, this is a great move. I love this. I love this overall. But now let's go back to Luzardo here. Going back to his 2023 season, had a 3.58 ERA, a 3.55 on the FIP, 10 strikeouts per 9, just under 3 walks per 9, a home run per 9. He had a very good season back in 2023. I really like Luzardo, man. I was really on that train of the Red Sox going after him. I really wanted him back a year ago, but hey, it is what it is. Now for the, obviously with the Red Sox, now they got Garrett Crochet, so no need to go after someone like Luzardo. But I think this is a good move for the Phillies. They needed to add to this team, right? A very disappointing ending in the postseason this year. I think, they needed to make a move, right? And Luzardo, who's going to be on, what's the phrase I'm looking for? He's going to be on the return swing, right? I think one bright side you could say with Luzardo, even though, yes, he was dealing with the back injury, at least, again, getting back to the arm, right? Kind of saved some mileage on that arm a little bit this past year, right? Under 70 innings pitched, So again, if that back is good to go, this is going to be a lethal rotation. Again, Wheeler, Nola, Luzardo. I mean, what a 1-2-3. Could you imagine going into the postseason with that? I mean, that's just insane. I mean, what a rotation that would be, man. They already had the best rotation in baseball, and now you just added to it. I love it. I love it overall. I think it's a great move. I'm seeing here in the chat here. What do we got here? Kyle, what about Patrick Sandoval to the Sox? Yeah, I mean, that was a good buy low move. Good buy low move for them. You're basically, that's what Craig Breslow's been doing. He's been bringing in guys that have been hurt, and they're more looking for that second year of the deal. Did the same thing with Liam Hendricks. Did it with Michael Fulmer. So, it seems something that they're into the idea of that. So I'm okay with it. Sandoval, I think, if he's healthy, he's a good, mid-back rotation kind of a guy. Gives you good depth. But taking a look further here, again, I like this trade overall for both sides. I mean, there's no reason for the Marlins to really hang on to Luzardo at this point. I was thinking coming into the offseason, could you hang on to him until the deadline, right? Where, we saw what the prices were looking like at the trade deadline. And, I mean, good grief, you were seeing just expensive prices. Look what the Astros did, with Yusei Kikuchi. Gave up a big package for the Blue Jays. But then again, if, from the Marlins point of view, if you could have gotten something good enough now, why take the risk of hanging on to him until the deadline? I think this was the right time to do it. I think this could also tell you that Luzardo, who's coming off of, a back injury this past year, could this also mean that the White Sox could be trying to really move Luis Robert at this point, right? Kind of same thinking a little bit with Robert. He's had more of an injury record, more of an injury history. I think with Luis Robert, and the White Sox, same mentality, right? Do you want to risk him getting hurt again? Right? And then his value just plummets. If that happened with Luzardo, well, then, I mean, you weren't going to get anything for the guy, and there's no need to hang on to him at this point. So I'm I think this is the right time. And now, when it comes to the Marlins moving forward, all eyes are going to be on Sandy Alcantara. I think he is going to be a guy to pay attention to at the deadline. I don't think he's going to get moved now because he's coming back from a major arm injury, right? Had the Tommy John. So I don't think you're going to see him get moved this year or this offseason. Deadline, I think, for Sandy Alcantara. So they've already told Alcantara that he's going to be with the team. And I don't think it makes any sense to move him at this point. Sure, Luzardo, yes, he also is coming back from an injury, but that's the back, right? Alcantara with the arm. That's something you want to see how that goes. You want to see, and he's obviously had an extensive rehab for that, right? You're looking at over a year of rehab. So I think for the Marlins, Alcantara, I think it would just be more responsible to hang on to him, finish that out and just get him back on the mound. And then teams can look into him for the deadline, right? See what he can do